Hello, my name is Abu Bengur, the team leader and developer.
Hi, my name is Tuan Pham, the Scrum Master and developer.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm the product owner as well as one of the developers.
I'm Rachel Yang. I am a developer.
I'm Ariana, and I'm a developer.
First, Rachel is going to present the goals of our project.
Again, I am Rachel Yang, and the purpose of the application is to create a tarot card reading game, essentially, that can predict your past, present, and future. It'll bring knowledge of tarot reading and kind of like the tarot card meaning to the user. And for anybody who's interested in spirituality or fortune telling, it could be a very interesting application to utilize. And it also serves as a bit of fun for those who don't necessarily believe in spirituality or fortune telling, but would still like a fun game that can waste a couple minutes.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm the product owner as well as one of the developers. So, for our product backlog, our completed tasks are that all scenes are implemented. This includes the history, main menu, main game, and AR screen. The base game code is mostly finished. The history scene is finished. As for unfinished tasks, we still need the AR screen to have functionality and it needs to be bug tested. Dialog box needs to be added, which is pretty close to being added, but it's not quite done. We have to finish collecting AR models, and if we have time, we're going to touch up graphics. As for changes, we are no longer printing physical cards, mostly due to the coronavirus, and we're going to greatly lower our code refactoring that we are planning on doing.
Next is about the Scrum Master. Again, I'm Ton, a Scrum Master and developer. As a Scrum Master, how did I coordinate the whole team to get things done? Well, we have 2 meetings every week, and in every meeting, I usually do as follows. First, I need to know if my team have any questions. After that, I would ask them, do you encounter any difficulty in your task? Is it too complex or too boring? Something like that. And depending on the response, I may have to adjust the task and assign them again to fit with the group situation, so I can decide who is the best performer on that particular task. Another important factor that I'm aware in Scrum methodology is individual responsibility. I want everyone to update their own progress frequently as shown in this slide, so I can have an idea of what's going on. I would like to see the specific numbers such as 20%, 50%, 55%, and if they can reach 100%, the task can be considered completed and replaced by the green mark on the right side. And finally, as we all know, in a programming project, we need to have a knowledge prerequisites of a specific programming function to be able to write a new feature. So I encourage every member to work closely with one another who can help them to understand the previous task to be able to write a new task related to it. That's how I coordinated the whole team. Next, Ariana will talk about the schedule.
I'm Ariana, and I'm a developer. This is our schedule. It shows what we have completed in Sprint 2 and 3. We have created quotes for each card that have the past, present, and future. We've created the pick, shuffle, and collect functions. We have set up our AR screen and created 5 3D models for the major arcana. We have also created transitions for our game. Our future tasks include adding background music, button animations, and remodeling our start and history screen.
Next, Abu is going to talk about the group challenges.
Hello, my name is Abu Bengur, the team leader and developer. Problems we run through during our project was due to the coronavirus. This caused disorganization in our team. Another was frustration with team members doing more than they were assigned to, or the inverse of it. There were also problems with trying to work Unity, like problem solving a feature for our software, or teammates having a different version of the game. Luckily, there were solutions. In our team communication side, we encouraged our team members, and team members were able to accept their task and talk about it with other team members. When it came to Unity, team members had to work with each other to figure out a solution and try to get a latest version for GitHub whenever someone had a different version.
Now we are presenting individual challenges.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm the product owner as well as one of the developers. One of the biggest problems I personally had, and I think a lot of other people in my group also had, was just communication. During the coronavirus, we couldn't leave our houses, so we mainly had to communicate through Discord and text. It was hard to keep track of everyone's problems and just help they needed and just for everyone to stay on track because we couldn't really meet on person and just see what everyone's problems were. I also personally had problems kind of creating the reverse cards, which were basically the cards but reversed. It sounds pretty simple, but I kind of had to mess with other people's code, and I normally don't really like to mess too much with other people's code to kind of accomplish my tasks. But in this case, I kind of did, and it was just kind of hard to ask people questions, especially since, we were mostly just communicating by text. Luckily, though, I figured it out, and it just worked out.
Again, I'm Rachel, and there were two main challenges that I faced. The first one was with the transition animation. I struggled with making it really seamless between the two scenes. The biggest problem I had was getting it to work in conjunction with clicking the button. My second challenge was through communication. This current situation has us moving through Discord and not meeting in person and only meeting online, and for me that's really, really difficult. I tend to do better in-person, face-to-face meetings. I feel like I can get my thoughts across better that way, and so communication has been just a little bit of a struggle just because of how I personally like to communicate and how I effectively get my thoughts across.
I'm Ariana, and I'm a developer. Some of the challenges I faced are communicating with my team. Not being on campus, it's been hard to show them my errors and get them resolved in a timely manner. I also had trouble with sharing my code. I'm working on the dialog box, so when I did share it, it was a different version, so I lost my code and had it to start over.
I'm torn. The challenge I faced in this project is merging processes. Our project is getting larger now, and most of the time someone updates new changes to the main project, we got conflicts. Or they not meet the requirements and I have to rewrite it again. My solution is I refactor the whole project to follow the solid principle. Especially single principle. Every function should serve only one purpose. An open-close principle, the code opens for expansion and closed for modification, so I can easily manage everyone's codes from now on. Now we're moving on to demonstration. Here's just a recap from the previous presentation. We already finished the history screen with displaying the history story and the meaning of each card. We placed 22 cards on the left side and display the content on the right side. That's it. Now moving on to the gameplay. Here's the main screen. We can see the deck is placing on the table waiting for some inputs. We can spread the card and display it. This function from the previous one. For this presentation, Abu is going to present his shuffle animation first.
One feature I worked on in the game was the shuffle function. Well, I actually worked on the beta version on it. This was one of the functions I had trouble with when making the software. As you see here, it makes a quick shuffle. But after the shuffle, the card has a hard time spreading itself out until you press a certain spot for it to spread.
This is Tuan again, and I continue to talk about the shuffle animation. After spending plenty of time struggling with how the shuffle animation works, we came up with something like this. You may see it's so simple, but it's not easy. I'm gonna pause right here. As you can see, there are 22 cards right here. Each of them is a distinct game object. And in order to make a realistic animation, I have to move 22 cards to different positions with different directions as well as the rotations. And eventually we made it. Next, I created the pick function to limit choosing 3 cards at a time. If you choose more than 3 cards, the oldest one will be removed from the queue. If you pick less than 3 cards, you cannot press the collect button. It only allows your input when you have 3 cards on your hand, which is the work done by Caitlin. And at this point, we're also transition effect text play, which is done by Rachel. So next, they will present it in more detail.
This is Rachel speaking. My contribution was the transition animation. The transition animation just helps to make transitioning from one scene to the next a little less jarring to make it a little bit more seamless. The code for it is pretty simple in principle. Once a button to transition to another scene has been pressed, what it does is it goes into the code. There's a delay in which the transition will appear, and then it'll run the code that changes the scene from one scene to the next, making the transition seem more seamless.
This is Caitlin again, and I'm here to talk about the collect method that I made. So, basically, after the 3 cards are chosen, I move all the other cards down off the screen, and we're just left with the ones that we chose. These cards are then, after a transition made by Rachel, taken to another scene, which this scene is made by Tuan, and they're flipped. I actually flipped the cards. I made the logic for it, but Tuan actually made the animation itself. After they're flipped, it determines whether it's going to be a reverse card or a just normal right side up card. Depending on whether it's reversed or not, it'll have different messages. It'll always say past, present, and future depending on which one you click, respectively, but the dialogue will change if it's reversed or not reversed because the meaning changes. Currently, the dialogue is shown in the console rather than a dialogue box on screen just because we haven't created that yet, but it should be done relatively soon, and it will be created by Ariana.
And lastly, for the demo, I don't have anything to physically show, but I am working on the dialogue box, and it will display the past, present, and future of each card once the person chooses it.
And this is the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. We will answer them as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys next time.